We're on the final leg of our tour of the long list of remarkable homes furiously competing to win the Royal Institute of British Architects House of the Year Award 2018. So far, 6 homes have made it through to the shortlist. There are just 4 homes left, grouped in this programme under the theme of interesting materials and craftsmanship. Oh, now that's remarkable. 2 glorious voids. I'll be looking at these exceptional homes with the architect Damien Burrows and the design expert Michelle Gunderhin. Towards the end of this programme, we'll find out who bags the last remaining place on the shortlist before we discover who is the overall winner of House of the Year. So far, the buildings that have made it onto the shortlist for House of the Year have embraced everything from the magnificent to the sculptural and small scale. There are 2 houses that dared to be different, the Zigzag Pheasants and the Brazen Red House. There's a pair that embrace extremes, the wild and windswept Lochside and the experimental Vex. And 2 houses with a past, the reinvented barn that is Old Shed New House and the restored Coastal House. Our first example of that outstanding craftsmanship is in Berkshire, where materials have been delicately put together to make something magical. Michelle Gunderhin is taking a look.
It's all just so gorgeously aligned and straight and neat. I love it.
This is Berkshire House, a sharply dressed long lister. Everything is poised here, perfectly in place. There are no creases or crumples. It all lines up immaculately. Every room here demonstrates the faultless finesse that impressed the RIBA judges, who found the house a joy to walk through, full of minimal detailing to admire. They called it a shining example of carefully considered, painstakingly crafted architecture. There are 5 bedrooms with a master bedroom on one side and 4 bedrooms on the other. Downstairs, a kitchen, family room and sitting room sit either side of the central hall. Simple. This crafted gem was commissioned by Gary and Sam. After 3 years working with their architects, this is the result. The dream of a lifetime, writ large.
Oh, wow.
Especially in their great hall.
That is one hell of a window.
Yeah, actually, that's 3 sliding doors.
The effect is to draw you magnetically to the vertical views through these double-height glass doors. The glass doors were made in Switzerland. Overall, the scale of this house is breathtaking. But for a large wooden object in the landscape, it doesn't feel at all oversized or out of place here.
There's something tremendously monumental about this building, and yet it doesn't feel massive or heavy. It sits very lightly in its location. And I think that's to do with the materials, whether the brick or this gorgeous wood and the craftsmanship that's gone into all this alignment. I mean, you feel like you could just sit here for hours. It's just so soothing.
This soothing calm radiates through the whole house, even into rooms that you'd expect to be jammed full of stuff.
You've managed to keep your kitchen as pristine as the rest of the house. I mean, how are you pulling that off?
I've got secret cupboards.
Sam is a home economist, but here her favourite place to prepare food is in a cupboard.
So I can literally make coffee, make toast, whip up a cake, and then when I'm done, I just shut the doors.
Shut it all away again.
We have a secret bar as well.
And what does every party house need?
Ladies and gents, obviously. This house is constantly full of people, and really nobody wants to queue for the loo, do they?
It took 17 months to build this house, nearly half of which was spent on the cladding, which wraps around the entire building. The architects, Gregory Phillips and James Shelton, specified timbers of exactly equal widths that were spaced precisely.
We set this whole building out on this kind of 75mm timber and a 15mm gap, and we've actually got that around all four sides of the house.
This house couldn't be more different from what was here before, Gary's parents' home. They sold the house to Gary and Sam when they downsized, who then knocked it down. I don't think Gary's parents, or anyone for that matter, could resent them for building such a beautiful home. It's a robust example of the 21st century arts and crafts house.
We've got a big family, and we do want to carry it on through the generations. You know, this will be here long after we're gone, and hopefully the kids and hopefully their kids will enjoy it then as well.
The beauty of a building like this lies in its extraordinary attention to detail. You can tell it's been a real labour of love, certainly for the owners, but also for the builders. You can feel that in every brick and every carefully placed piece of cladding. And for me, that's what gives it its real power.
Coming up, 3 more wonderfully crafted homes. Before we find out which one has made the shortlist, and then finally discover who is the overall winner of House of the Year 2018. Nowhere is that kind of craftsmanship thriving more than in Northern Ireland. Belfast is now a city with a fast-growing culture of making, and it's spilling out of the workshops onto the streets. This is number 37. In this skillfully made building, ordinary materials have been made beautiful through the magic of invention. Offcuts of timber have been craftily used to strike a perfect shadow line at the top of the building. Rainwater downpipes are sculptural. Inside, standard plywood is transformed into designer furniture. And all this ingenuity is packed into one tiny building. Number 37 is the smallest house on the long list. Under the left roof is a double-height kitchen and living room. Under the right-hand roof, a shower room and bedroom. A mezzanine bedroom sits above, overlooking the entire space below. Its designers and owners are the husband and wife architects Grania and Alistair Cumming, who are planning a radical life change. Fed up with being adults, Grania and Alistair have designed their experimental student digs in a style of building they both adore.
I love sheds, I love buildings made of wood, I think everybody does.
Yeah.
And if that looks like a shed, I'm happy with
You're
that.
happy, you're
happy with that.
Yeah. What's the wood?
It's Scottish larch.
Scottish larch.
Yes, it's almost impossible to drill through, so we had to import fixings from Austria. They're specially designed to go through this kind of really dense resinous wood that lasts 100 years.
37 is a hard-wearing and low-cost home. Grania and Alistair built this beautiful house for only £100,000. You'd never know it was built on a super tight budget, at least not from the front, but round the back of the house. Thank you. Oh, that's remarkable. The RIBA judges admired how this small house refused to feel enclosed, delivering views between spaces and lots of connection to the outside. They've squashed a lot in here. A central living area, a bedroom under the stairs and shower room to the right, plus a mezzanine bedroom on top. Amazing for a house of only 56 square meters. I expected this building to be somewhat more squeezed, with a lot more accommodation kind of pushed into these big triangular spaces, but there's just 2 glorious voids. Big.
It makes a small space seem much bigger. It's almost like magic.
Every element, wherever possible, has been scaled down to be the smallest it can be, while still being usable. Like the stairs, which double as a chalkboard. I like that.
Yes. The stair is exactly what meets building control.
It ain't big, is it?
Technically, You cannot fit a stair into a narrower space than that. If you said, where's the kitchen in this house? It's this bit, the metal bit.
Room enough for a kettle and a pot noodle. Maybe a casserole. For the bathroom, they designed their own door signs. I do like the logo on the door.
It's helpful for navigating around our small house.
They also designed their own tiles, inspired by local bluebells. It's a charming way in which the building is kind of personalised, isn't it?
Yes.
Their creativity works its way into every corner of the house. One single sheet of plywood becomes a multi-purpose work-cum-dining table, designed especially to fit into this small space.
This building is designed for downsizing. How little do you need? And you don't have to forego good design, and it can be an uplifting experience on a low budget, and that's what I think we've done here.
Number 37 is a little wooden building where simple materials are used to create the experience you might expect from a much bigger, more expensive house. This is a modest home. It delivers everything it has to just the right level. It is the just enough home. And we don't have enough of those.